was a great story. Dr. Solomon joins us here from Baltimore Washington Medical Center. You relate to people. That's all we want from a doctor. Just relate to me. I know you're going to make me better, but just relate to me. Go one-on-one, right?
You're right. I think it's just the most important thing we do. I had this unbelievable training. We had age 6 doing magic, and then going to medical school, and then you go to grade 27 to be a neurosurgeon. But at the end of the day, somebody wants to look them in the eye and just be human and explain things in a way that can understand them. And there's a woman named Carolyn Mace. She wrote a book about healing, and she said, when people get ill, it's like they're in a boat. And they want to get from one shore, they're in the middle and they're sick on the boat, and they want to get to the other shore and go home and go on with their lives. Last night, I worked probably 15 hours, 16 hours yesterday, which is not uncommon for what we all do. And I know you work hard, and people out there work so hard. And at the end of the day, I knew there was a lady that showed up with a brain tumor. I went and saw her last night about midnight. And I didn't do anything except I listened to her. And I think that meant more to her than anything. I just sat there and said, listen, we're going to get to the other side so you can go on with your life.
It seems to me, knowing you, by the way, Mount Washington guy, went to Gilman, and you're still connected with Gilman, right?
Yes, I love Gilman. And Reddy Finney, I remember him reaching out picking up paper. I still pick up paper because of him.
And you stayed local. You stayed right here in your own hospital.
Yeah, I love Baltimore. And Baltimore Washington Medical Center is really the epitome of community hospitals as they grow with baby boomers getting bigger, older and more coming into the hospital, stressing the city hospitals. It's wonderful to be able to have a team of people from everybody from the ground up just pitch in. And a place like Baltimore Washington Medical Center, we've done some amazing surgeries like the one with Dr. Kleinman. I work with Complex Spine, Dr. Randy Davis, Dr. Urban, a whole bunch of us. There's just this team spirit there where people get in, they get well, and they go home, but they're in your own neighborhood. And if they need to go to the bigger places like University or Hopkins, I operate at those places. I have wonderful relationships there. But it is nice to be, in a local place where you really feel like you're giving back.
And knowing you, this is not a job. You are affected by everybody you meet.
Yes, and I love it. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a really very abstract thing to think that you're taking a tumor out of someone's brain, or you're drilling next to the spinal cord, or you're taking a tumor out of the cord. And I always try to sneak in like I'm taking a ham sandwich out of someone's refrigerator, and then in the morning when they get up, they see the sandwich is gone when they go to get their milk for the cereal, but they didn't realize anybody was ever in their house. And I think that you learn just a little bit every day, more and more, and then before you know it, you're doing this crazy thing.
When you say things happen for a purpose, you believe that, don't you?
Absolutely. I have had so many things in my life, especially things that weren't necessarily perfect, where I showed up and I really realized that if you do nothing, you're doing something. During the blizzard, I got called because a young man had a trauma to his head and had a big blood clot in the brain. And they called me and said that we can't go to trauma or to Johns Hopkins because the roads are closed, there's no helicopters, no ambulance. I looked out my window, my neighbors, Buzz and Bill, had plowed my car out knowing I might get called and never asked them to do this. These are the kind of people that are in my life that just surround me. I drove to the hospital, amazed I got in. There were people from the administration working the desks. There were nurses that were there for 4 days that couldn't get home. The snow was up to here. Took him right to the operating room. He woke right up and said, boy, my head feels better. And, that 19-year-old will go on and have a life. And I, having a little part of that, and the team there, I just say, every day I walk out of the OR, I look around so no one sees me, think I'm crazy, and I say, thank God.
Well, thank God you came in here. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
You're a good man.
You too.
Megan.
No kidding.